I would say Airtel is an institution in itself.
Okay.
I owe a lot to Airtel specifically because the time I spent in Airtel and I'm very thankful to the leaders. This competition within the players is quite healthy, I would say, and
Yeah.
all these
Okay.
digital disruptors and other insurance players, specifically into health domain, they are doing some
Mm-hmm.
fantastic, fabulous work. And when I say culture, is specifically the internal, the employees, right from the top, which is the MD or Mr. Siddharth Lal, to the last in the hierarchy, even somewhere in the volume plant, somewhere
Mm-hmm.
across the lengths and breadths of the organization. I would safely say that more than 75% people,
Mm-hmm.
organizations, the people are motorcycling enthusiasts.
Hi everyone. Welcome to Icons Behind Brands. And I'm Devleena Neogi, your host, back with one more very special episode and a very special guest with me today. Joining us, Mr. Pranav S Pathak, who is a VP and Head of Channel Marketing at Niva Bupa Health Insurance. With over 18 years of experience, he has worked with various companies like Radio Mirchi, Vodafone, Royal Enfield, Airtel, and he brings a wealth of knowledge and insights from his diverse experience working with diverse industries. So I'm so excited for this episode. Pranav, welcome on Icons Behind Brands. A warm welcome to you.
Thank you, Devlina. Thank you so much for having me.
Pranav, the kind of experience आपने जिस तरीके की companies में काम किया है, that is like diverse and the range is quite, quite large. If we have to see the mindset, the customers and all these things. तो क्या आप can you give us an overview of the whole professional journey, like worked with companies like Niva Bupa Health Insurance too. You have worked with Radio Mirchi, Vodafone, Royal Enfield, and Airtel. So, if you take us through your journey, I think that will just set the context for today's conversation.
I started my career with media industry and with
Mm-hmm.
which is the Times of India Group Radio Mirchi, and
Mm-hmm.
this I worked there for large longer time. It was nearly 3 years, and that industry really shaped me as an individual. What I would say is that when I the learnings I would talk about that industry and working in Radio Mirchi was
Mm-hmm.
that I sharpened my storytelling skills. काफी लोग
Okay.
कहते थे मुझे उस टाइम पे कि यार आप कहानी अच्छी बना लेते हो, कहानी अच्छी बोल
Okay.
लेते हो, तो
Okay.
मुझे
Okay.
उस टाइम पे समझ में नहीं आता था what does that actually mean. But then as you grow and read a lot of books and understanding storytelling is a very important skill.
That's very
So
important.
I
Yes.
started working on it. And then secondly, radio is all about, it's like working into an ad agency which has a output of a media leg as well. So
Correct.
it was like, so I worked on my, so I would say, storytelling skills. Secondly, I learned about concept selling. It is just not
Okay.
normal sales. So it was concept
Mm-hmm.
selling. I was into sales. And
Mm-hmm.
thirdly, it is most profound thing which I would say is that our then MD, Mr. AP Kariki, is a very
Okay.
well-known name in the industry. And he used to say in wherever we used to meet and wherever we used to come for reviews and all, he used to talk about these two things, fun and responsibility. So
Okay.
that has stuck with me till date, and I think this will be there for with me forever.
Mm.
And then from this, I moved to a completely different industry. So I normally हम यही बोलते हैं कि एक टावर वाली कंपनी से बहुत सारे टावर वाली कंपनीज में चला गया. So
Acha.
I'm moving on to telecom. So telecom is all about having a lot of towers.
Lot of
रेडियो का
towers.
एक ही टावर
Yes.
होता है.
हाँ
So
हाँ.
a lot of towers.
But
So
tower तो है
then
at least. एक connection.
yes, connection है. Connection हमेशा जरूरी होता है. So
जरूरी है.
here I moved into telecom, and out of my 18, 19 years of experience, this is the industry I spend my time maximum. And this industry gave me a lot of things, including my wife. We met in Vodafone,
Oh,
and now
okay.
she is my wife. So
Mhm.
that is there. But coming back to the journey, I would say my core marketing stint started with Vodafone,
Okay.
which was Vodafone Rajasthan, and actually I joined Hutch. and it became after very few
Mm-hmm.
months, it became Hutch to Vodafone. So I was a part of India's largest brand transition, which was Hutch to
Mm-hmm.
Vodafone on pink to red, and I was part of that team in Rajasthan, and I'm extremely proud of. And then moving to the central marketing team, from Vodafone to Aircel to Airtel. I moved to circle marketing to the central marketing. I was senior brand manager for Airtel, and I was handling the central marketing piece as well. And would like to say about one thing, that I was brand manager for the Airtel Delhi Half Marathon as well.
Oh,
And that was the
okay.
most beautiful experience for me in
Wow.
here in Gurgaon. And we
Mm-hmm.
created a super campaign for it, for the Airtel Delhi Marathon. And
Mm-hmm.
the name of that campaign was Network of Care. So
Network of
here
care.
I learned that network of care. So
Okay.
telecom is all about network.
Correct.
What you sell is network. The outcome is network and connectivity. And
Mm-hmm.
marathon is all about running and changing the status quo and challenging yourself, because you're not competing against anyone. You're competing against your own self. So
True.
these all runners, they are breaking their own records. If someone has ran last year half marathon in so much time, so this year they say that I want to do it in this much time. So the competition
Yes.
is with themselves. So integrating those specific insights from the marathon to a telecom category, we created a
Correct.
campaign called Network of Care, and that film is there, a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful film. That film
Okay.
is there on YouTube. You can watch it. It's a lovely campaign and a film which we created. So this is my journey in telecom. Nearly, I worked in IT for 7 years, and then
Okay.
I got a chance to work again in another industry, which was automobile industry, and
Oh,
I
yes.
switched my gear to Royal Enfield. And then
Mm-hmm.
here I am with Niva Bupa Health Insurance. This is my fourth industry, which is completely different from my other industries. And I would say that this is a 0 to 1 journey. And
Okay.
0 to 1 journeys are the most difficult journeys, but
Mm-hmm.
they shape what you are as an individual.
Yeah, so I also want to understand you have joined Vodafone, then Automobile, then Airtel. So in these two stint of Vodafone and Airtel, between what was the learning, the second one, how it was different from the first one, like.
So Vodafone was a marketing-driven organization,
Mm-hmm.
and Airtel I would say Airtel is an institution in itself.
Okay.
I owe a lot to Airtel specifically because the time I spent in Airtel, and I'm very thankful to the leaders there, and I'm still in touch with all of these
Mm-hmm.
people. But actually, the things are very different. Airtel taught me uh, execution excellence. I would say
Okay.
uh, if anything has to be driven from top to down, I would
Mm-hmm.
say I don't know about other companies, but I would safely say that I've never seen the speed to execution the way people do it in Airtel. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's just like phenomenal.
Correct.
And secondly, I would say Vodafone. In my time and during those times, they were extremely focused on quality acquisition. They were in quality
Mm-hmm.
acquisition. They were in specifically focusing on the postpaid side of business, and
Okay.
it's a niche, but and they created some amazing campaigns and amazing activations. I would say that in Rajasthan, when I was there in Rajasthan, I was the brand manager for Sirmur Cup. So Sirmur Cup is a very
Okay.
prestigious event which is sponsored by Vodafone and which is happening from last so many years. It's a polo tournament which has been which has been a flagship IP of Vodafone Rajasthan, and it's an amazing tournament, an amazing uh, activation wherein the consumers, specifically the high net individuals, HNI consumers, have been tapped. So I would say these are the two learnings I would specifically call out.
Okay. Amazing. So every brand teaches you a lot of
Yes,
different things,
absolutely.
right? Because every brand's ethos are different, their vision and mission are different. How do you see this, especially at the era of startup, where there are a lot of insure tech companies are there, a lot of digital disruptors are there, right? So how do you see this uh, in future and the current scenario, and also uh, क्या क्या misconceptions है about this in this insurance industry, because there are a lot of taboos in people's mind. So how do you address that?
So I would say insurance largely is a very advisory-led business. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Still, a large chunk of population buys insurance product after having an interaction with a human.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I said it's an advisory-led business, and that because of that, there has been a very large vacuum into the overall category, and specifically in smaller towns and smaller places. And I would say there is a hard fact, which is like 40 crores of Indians are uninsured right now, and what we call is as the missing middle. And
Mm-hmm.
this is what the problem is. But having said that, what you're saying is that this competition within the players is quite healthy, I would say. And
Yeah.
all these
Okay.
digital disruptors and other insurance players specifically into health domain, they are doing some
Mm-hmm.
fantastic fabulous work, which is
Mm-hmm.
increasingly day by day creating a large pool of awareness within the category and also consideration. So I would say that it's this competition is actually good for the overall country and for the category.
Mm-hmm.
And coming to the second part of your question is misconception. I would say this what I'm saying is that it cuts across not just for other industries as well. Is that we believe or we feel that the consumer, the end user, is a price conscious person. But
Okay.
what we've seen is in last couple of years, the
Mm-hmm.
needle has moved to a price conscious person to a value conscious person, and
Okay.
that thing is, I think we should focus on the value consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
and that is a good indicator for the overall industry.
Uh, Pranav, I was curious to know about Royal Enfield because of the brand, because of the heritage that it carries. This is a like community driven side, and there are, I have seen, especially in Royal Enfield side, devoted community of enthusiasts, right?
Absolutely.
तो रिफ्लेक्टिंग ऑन योर जर्नी, जब आपने रॉयल एनफील्ड में काम किया था, तो हाउ वाज इट लाइक? आपके माइंड में कैसा था कि हाउ टू टेक दिस हेरिटेज एंड द पैशनेट फैन बेस टू ड्राइव द एंगेजमेंट, इनको एंगेज कैसे किया जाए, बिकॉज इट्स अ वेरी डिफरेंट कैटेगरी ऑल टुगेदर.
Cool. So I was reading this book some time back. It's called Delivering Happiness. It's written by the CEO of Zappos, and
ओके.
in one of the chapter he talks about three things, and it's a very beautiful written book. He talks about three things: brand, culture, and pipeline. So
ब्रांड
if I
कल्चर एंड
if
पाइपलाइन. ओके.
so brand, culture, and pipeline, and if I
ओके.
think about Royal Enfield scores 100 out of 100 in all these three things, and I'll tell you why. Brand, we all know that it's one of the most iconic brands, one of the most beautiful brands India has ever seen. There are other big brands as well, but Royal Enfield is it would be one of the top five brands. And second is the culture. And when I say culture, is specifically the internal, the employees, right from the top, which is the MD or Mr. Siddharth Lal, to the last in the hierarchy, even somewhere in the volume plant, somewhere across the lengths and breadths of the organization. I would safely say that more than 75% people, organizations, the people are motorcycling enthusiasts. They
Oh,
live, breathe, eat, talk only about motorcycling.
okay. The
And so much
people
to
who are
say,
working.
yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
that's amazing.
Yes, and so much to say that they also have, so we are working. So we all
Mm-hmm.
have some prescribed leaves for the entire year, 18, 20 leaves on topical days, Holi, Diwali, Rakhi, Eid,
Yeah.
right? But in Royal Enfield, they have a specific call out saying rides leave. These are
Oh.
6 to 7 days wherein even the motorcycle will be given by the company.
Uh-huh.
When you do the
Okay.
necessary documentations and all, you just have to apply the leave. If your boss approves it, you just pick up the motorcycle, fill it, and just
Oh my
go wherever
God.
you want. So
That's
the rides,
amazing.
there are rides, there is a ride leave in the ecosystem. So that's what I'm saying, culture. And last,
So
what I'm
they
saying is a
live what they
pipeline.
say. They're living it.
Yes, live. Absolutely. And the third is pipeline. They
Mm-hmm.
have an amazing, what you said, absolutely the most robust community and the community of riders. But they also have a very strong and robust distribution network and a
Okay.
pipeline of amazing products. In the last 3-4 years, you've seen that a lot of new products have entered into the market from the House of Royal Enfield and catering to various segments. So this also helps them to create a large pipeline. And this pipeline, I'm not talking about 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. The pipeline is as strong as for an year and
Acha.
even more than that. So
Mm-hmm.
these three things, brand, culture, and pipeline. So in this book, he talks about saying that everything a company does can be copied. But if these three things are done with utmost honesty, things cannot be copied. And I would say that Royal Enfield is doing these three things phenomenally in my stint. So I joined Royal Enfield in the year 2019 late,
Mm-hmm.
and वो बोलते हैं ना हिंदी में कि हाथ की मेहंदी भी नहीं सूखी थी, and
Okay. Uh-huh.
or COVID struck. So we what we did is that we started home test rides. So whenever someone
Okay.
wants to book a test ride, so the dealer would send a spick and span motorcycle, very amazing, good, completely sanitized motorcycle
Okay.
with a rider, with a gear,
Mm-hmm.
with a helmet, complete sanitization process in front of you, and then you can book a test ride. You go for a test ride, and then so that
Come
was
back.
one thing which I would say we did. So we spoke to, just like on these platforms on Zoom and Gmeets, we spoke to a lot of dealers, nearly all dealers, and their
Mm-hmm.
marketing managers, and explain them how to leverage the power, how to leverage social media. And
Okay.
in due course, we completely streamlined the entire process. We ensured that all the handles are within the brand guidelines of Royal Enfield.
Mm-hmm.
Second was the content which goes on these pages, content which goes, what has to be approved from the central server,
Okay.
and it has to be
Okay.
synchronized with the central server, and so that it gives a one oneness
Message.
and overall synchronized
Mm-hmm.
symmetrical thing which we do at the central place. So
Wow.
this was it, and then we started with the stories wherein we asked customers to share their ride stories on social media. That on that also we got a lot of traction. And last I would talk about is I'm extremely happy about sharing that aligned with our distribution when everything
Mm-hmm.
eased off and everything was normal and back to everything normal. So we aligned with and in sync with our distribution strategy. I anchored two mass media uh,
Okay.
huge campaigns for two states, Maharashtra and AP Telangana, and we created these two campaigns. And obviously, we created two films, and I made two beautiful films in one for
Okay.
Maharashtra, one for AP Telangana, and
Mm-hmm.
these campaigns also worked very nicely. So in
So
a
what
very
was
short
those
stint,
films?
so
Films
these
all about?
one was for Maharashtra, and the anthem. There was a beautiful film which had three to four protagonists, and
Okay.
the end slate was Man Kadak Man Ghat Kadak. Means
Okay. Wow.
Kadak is the word which is very synonymous of what Maharashtra is. महाराष्ट्र में कड़क वर्ड बहुत ज्यादा यूज किया जाता है हर चीज कड़क
Acha, acha,
एवरीथिंग
acha.
कड़क चाय तो कड़क
Uh-huh.
स्टाइल
Uh-huh.
तो कड़क so
Acha.
picking from that insight. So
Mm-hmm.
man kadak, kadak means the heart is kadak, and
Heart is
mangat kadak
strong.
means the wrist is kadak.
Okay.
And we showed the entire beautiful landscape of Maharashtra from the forts of Maharashtra and the entire landscape. So this film
Amazing.
was that on that. And the second
Mm-hmm.
was on AP Telangana, where there was only one protagonist, but again, this is a story of a ride and the rider, and
Acha.
there was an overriding anthem,
Mm-hmm.
specially written in Telugu.
Okay.
So the beautiful song, and we got it approved from a lot of people. We had our CEO, then CEO, he was from Telangana, so we shared it with him also. He shared it with his friends and all, so that we have absolute clarity on, because it has to be colloquial.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, literal translations create problems,
Yeah.
but when we create those songs, because I don't while my mother is a uh, uh, Rao, she is from Andhra and my father is from Maharashtra, but I do not
Okay.
understand Telugu, while I
Okay.
understand and read, write, speak Marathi. So we
Mm-hmm.
got that test done across, well, or even through our dealers and distributors. And
Mm-hmm.
so and we got an approval on that, saying that it's beautiful lyrics. And then we shot that film. It's a beautiful film. All those films are there on YouTube. You can watch it.
Yeah, yeah.
Beautifully shot videos, and the entire campaign. But just not advertising. Marketing is just not about creating films. There is there is
Correct.
there is a lot more
Would
to
be
it.
great if you share the links or something so that we can put it in our videos
Yeah,
as well.
sure, sure, sure. So this is what in my very short stint, I'm very fortunate to have done all these things in Royal Enfield.
Mhm. So I want to understand when you deal with these distributors, so how challenging it is for the marketing team to spread and inculcate the oneness across the distributors. Like, because I know this, being an entrepreneur, I have a small team, and spreading that one message in my small team itself takes a toll. Like sometimes it's very, very difficult, right? Now imagine the whole across India, so many distributor and so many different channels, their teams. So how challenging and how marketing team perceives this, the central team.
In my past organizations, what I've learned is that you need to be there in the thick of action, and the action happens on ground. So you need to
Okay.
be constantly be there on grounds, completely have completely immersed into the ecosystem of sales and distribution, and the consumer as well. You have to be on
Mm-hmm.
ground. While I'll be guilty on this, that in this organization I've not been able to do that much often. And I'm sure my boss will also be listening to this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but having said that, I have not lost touch. So what I've done is that I've set
That's
up a
more
weekly
important.
cadence. So I've set up a weekly cadence wherein I speak to my distributors, my
Mm-hmm.
sellers, my channel partners who are from the digital domain, and my sales folks, my sales team, just not the zonal managers or the cluster managers. I always also speak to the branch managers, to the FLS on the ground, so that I am closer to the reality of ground. And when you are
Mm-hmm.
closer to the reality of ground, you create strategies which are in line with what the person on ground is facing, the problem which he is facing. And similarly the distributors. And when this happens, and when you create those strategies, collaboration happen automatically.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously when you make any program, anything, you need to have a lot of iterations. You have to speak to a lot of people, and then finally it takes time to have the final output in hand. And I truly believe that might sound bookish or very poetic, but magic happens when people come together.
Wow. Pranav, in this era, like and especially when you are a leader, it's not easy. Okay, leadership term, it's nice to hear, it's nice to talk about, but often it needs a long term commitment, right? So and it's a lifelong learning process. So how do you keep yourself updated? How do you prioritize your learnings to strengthen your leadership skills and capabilities, Pranav?
I would specifically call out a very beautiful quote by the great Muhammad Ali, wherein he said, fly like a butterfly and sting like a bee. So,
Wow.
what does that actually mean for me is that I want to stay agile and adaptive.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other hand, also be extremely decisive in taking action. Also, uh, creating more islands of success and
Mm-hmm.
continuously looking for the white spaces. And
Mm-hmm.
for at a personal level, I read a lot. I
Mm-hmm.
listen to a lot of podcasts. This digitalization of the overall thing has made learning very uh, easy, and it's free as well. So
Mm-hmm.
I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to a lot of CMOs and CXOs who are talking about in various forums and all. So it's amazing to listen to all these great minds and to learn from them. So this is what I do, and reading as one of them, and constantly keeping yourself uh, updated to the newer
Mm-hmm.
technological interventions, newer ways of doing things, and always ready to accept change, because change is inevitable. Change is the biggest constant, as we say.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Because the landscape is moving very fast,
Yeah.
especially after, all the tech interventions and after AI and ML. So a lot of other things are coming up, and it's very important to stay ahead, stay agile, and understand where the market is going. And if you
Yeah.
are a leader, you have the responsibility of not only yours, but your teams as well. Okay, Pranav. So with this, now we are moving towards a section called rapid fire round. It's fun, it's entertaining round, and it also allows our viewers to connect you as a person a little more. They know your professional journey, and they know what kind of person you are professionally, your stints, your achievements, but they are probably not aware of what kind of person you are, as a, like, Pranav, as a human, as a friend, right? Rules are, you need to answer in one word.
Great. Bring it on.
Okay. So if you have to meet a historical figure, who would it be?
Okay, so I would like to meet Panchamda, the great R.D. Burman.
Oh, I mean, this urge of knowing, like, why, because it's a rapid fire round, but you can tell me.
So I'm a avid music listener. I love music. Music is very integral part of my life, day-to-day life, and I am
Mm-hmm.
a die-hard fan of R.D. Burman.
Oh, wow.
I would say he was the most incredible musician India has ever seen. And
Yes.
I've also seen. I would suggest that there is a documentary on him, and it's a national award-winning
What's that?
documentary
Uh-huh.
made by Mr. Brahmanath Singh. It's there on YouTube. Okay, you have to buy
Hmm.
it. It's the man, the music. Mujhe chalte
Hmm.
jana hai. It's a beautiful
Oh,
documentary.
I'm going to watch this because, yeah, even I love music, and being a Bengali, uh, I have learned and I have witnessed that time of all my family members. They used to talk about R.D. Burman and S.D. Burman. So, that is something which I connect very, very well. Okay. So, what was the last book you read?
Yeah, it's a book called Vedic Quant. It's written by Miss Abha Sharma. It's a beautiful book.
Okay. And what's that one thing people would be surprised to know about you?
Okay, so I'm a good cook, and I
Oh.
am also learning DJing from a very dear
Mm-hmm.
friend of mine who is a very big name in the techno world of DJs.
Teachers? Oh, that's a different angle of you, Pranav. See, nobody knows this so far, probably. Okay. What's that one thing that is still in there in your bucket list?
So the list is long, and so is life. But I would say the nearest near future thing is that I have to take my daughter to the next Taylor Swift concert.
Okay. Okay. What's your favorite hobby outside of work? I understood the music side, but you let me know if there is any other thing.
I would say music only. I'm a bit music lover. One point of maybe I'll start listening to Jagjit Singh Ghazal, and then I have a huge range. The spectrum is very large, and then I can
Okay.
straight away go to listening to my Michael Jackson, to Jimi Hendrix, to AC/DC, or to Metallica, and then come back to
Mm-hmm.
R.D. Burman or to Arijit Singh. So the range is
The range is
very big.
huge.
So music is very important part of my life. Music, reading, and I would say cooking. These three
Oh,
things
wow.
uh, are are very therapeutic for me.
What's that best piece of advice you have ever received?
This has been there with me since long, and I also today morning also I read somewhere, and it is I would say that don't whenever someone comes to you for any kind of a help or a solution or anything, so always take a pause and say that, let me get back to you, instead of
Okay.
jumping to a conclusion or jumping on to a direct solution. It's
Oh, okay.
do a proper diagnosis as doctors
Mm-hmm.
do, and
Okay.
and then come to a conclusion, because as I said earlier as well, that what worked for you in the past may not work for you today, and it might not work for you
For
in the
the
future
other
as well.
person. Pranav, tell me that if you could have one superpower, what would it be?
So I would say Nightcrawler's teleportation
What is that?
from the movie X-Men.
You-
X-Men. So he can move
okay,
across
okay.
any place, anytime.
So, what's your favorite way to unwind after a busy day?
So I would say there are two actually. One, whenever I come home and I go for a small jog or a
Mm-hmm.
little brisk walking, I put on my headphone and listen to some podcast or some TED talk or music as well. But this is it. And secondly, if it's too hot outside or raining or something, so I come sit back, relax, chill, play with my daughter, and we
Mm-hmm.
put on some music. We play Uno, we play
Okay.
Snakes and Ladder,
Mm.
and
Okay. That's a nice way.
yeah, and then I read. So this is the best way to unwind.
Correct. I think nothing better than that. And you do something which also brings the nostalgia back and also keeps you in the present moment where like your daughter is there and at the same time you're playing. So I think it's a great way to unwind your day. With this, we are out of the rapid fire round. And before we wind up this conversation, Pranav, I want you to talk for our viewers. What is your message for aspiring marketing leaders on their way up?
That's a tough one. Because why I say so, because I meet a lot of these young folks and aspiring marketing leaders, and
Mm-hmm.
they are incredible. They are literally amazing in whatever they are doing. They're so uh, upbeat. They are so aware of whatever they're doing. But still, if you've asked me this question, I would say uh, embrace integration and have a holistic approach for the entire thing, because combining traditional methods with new age digital interventions makes a comprehensive strategy. And also, every channel, I would say, every channel has its own strength, and uh, we need to constantly work on leveraging them to have the maximum impact, I would say.
Correct. Correct. So, yes, Pranav, this is very important. And there are many viewers who are aspiring to be in the position where you are someday. So, I think these are pearl of advisors for them. And yes, the conversation was wholesome. We have covered a lot from your professional journey to your little personal side.
Same here, Devina. I really enjoyed, and this is my first time actually.
Oh,
And I really enjoyed talking to you and
mm-hmm.
speaking to you. And as we say that, as my ex-boss used to say, that we are all students of marketing, and we
Correct.
will be, even if we
Mm-hmm.
retire, we will be students of marketing, because it's an ever-evolving journey, and
Mm-hmm.
there is always something to learn. So I would say
Correct.
it's really fantastic talking to you, and really
It
loved it.
Thank you for being here on Icons Behind Brands. So, business folks, how was the video? I'm sure कि आपको ये वीडियो बहुत ही insightful and informative लगा होगा. Let us know in the comment section which part of the video you loved the most. Please do not forget to subscribe our YouTube channel Icons Behind Brands. That's all for today. I'm Devleena Neogi signing off until next time.